Hello, welcome to Bookmas. I have lost track of the days, maybe day 10. I think there's only 2 videos left after this. So welcome to Bookmas day 10. In this video, I'm going to read and talk about all the novellas in the Under the Mistletoe series. They are a series of romance novellas, which are available on Kindle Unlimited, written by fairly well-known romance authors. I think they're all under 100 pages, so they are quick reads, but we're just gonna jump straight in to reading them, and I will give you my reactions as we go. I have read Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. This is the first in the series, and I really enjoyed it. I really had a good time with it. What's her name? Okay, so it's about Jamie and Mark. Jamie is best friends with Mark's sister, and they have been since they were children. And Mark has professed his love for Jamie many, many times. And recently they had an encounter that was awkward, and Jamie feels bad about it. But when she goes home for Christmas, she gets sent to her neighbour's house, and lo and behold, Mark is the only one home. This was a really sweet story. I really enjoyed it. The relationship is really clear between them. You get a lot of flashbacks to when they were younger. You get to see them growing up. You get to see them interacting throughout their lives, not just at this point in time. And it's a really, really sweet story. I felt like you got a whole romance book in under 100 pages, and I think that that is really well done. I have read other short stories by Ali Hazelwood and found them a little bit repetitive. Ali Hazelwood follows the kind of enemies to lovers trope very often, and this is my first time reading her doing something a little bit different, and I really enjoyed it. I felt like she created a good, strong foundation for the relationship, and it wasn't weird or creepy or anything like that. I wish there had been more holly jolly Christmas vibes that I expected out of a kind of holly jolly Christmas book, but it was just a little bit more kind of winter themed than Christmas themed, and I didn't enjoy the smutty scene. I'm sorry to say, it felt rushed and awkward and just a little bit cringy. Ali Hazelwood is still obsessed with the size of men in this book. How big and tall and broad and well endowed they are, which at this point just feels a little bit comical to me rather than anything else. But I gave it 4 stars. I gave it 4 whole stars for its 73 pages, and I think it earned them. That was the most fucking stupid book I've ever read. So it's about Evie and a guy. It's dual perspective, which I often appreciate. Evie is a single mum who's moved to a small town in Texas, and there is Hot Farmer. I want to call him Liam. That might be just completely wrong, but we're going with Liam. And Hot Farmer has the hots for her, and there's some miscommunication at the beginning where he thinks she's married and she thinks he's judging her. But I swear to God, half this book was just about how ginormous he was. I think he must be like inhumanly large. She said he was 6'6", and I'm like, okay, cool. That's tall, but it's not unknowable. This man can't buy clothes. He has to have special furniture made for him. He needs special women to satisfy him. I thought Ali Hazelwood was bad for writing ginormous men. But dear God, the dirty talk. Oh God, the dirty talk. It was so cringe. It was so cringe. And even though it was a shorter book than the last one, there was more smut, which I did expect. I did expect from Tessa Bailey. I have read one of her books before and it was mighty smut filmed, so I did expect it, but I wasn't prepared. They're just lustful people. Hugely lustful people. I gave it 3.25 because I had fun. I thought it was awful, but I had fun. Probably the most stupid 60 pages I have ever read, but it was a good time. It was a good time. God damn, what a terrible book. Only read this book if you want to laugh, right? If you want to laugh at it, read this book. Otherwise, give it a miss. It's not worth it. It's not worth the 60 pages. I think I might reread this book whenever I want a giggle. Still, not enough Christmas. It was set Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and then back at Christmas Day. And hardly anything Christmassy happened. Not enough Christmas. I want more Christmas. Give me festive joy. Okay. All by my elf, Olivia Dane. Dade. Dade? I haven't heard of this author before. And I didn't know anything about the book. I don't know how to describe my feelings towards it. So, the premise is... Oh, I'm going to have forgotten all their names. Natalie and Claudia and William are in the academic field and not getting paid very much. So, over the Christmas holiday, they decide to do advertising for a mincemeat company where they have to drive around in a repurposed hot dog van, which has a big hot dog on top of it, and they've turned it into this mincemeat tube thing, and do events, pop-ups, that kind of thing for this mincemeat company. And Natalie has a crush on William, but she thinks William and Claudia have gotten together, and she's like, I can't stand in the way of my best friend, even though, like, shit best friend behaviour if you know your friend has a crush. And they drop off Claudia at her parents' house for Christmas, and then they're on their way to the hotel and they get stuck in traffic in a snowstorm. And that's the premise. I think it was good enough, but it also kind of wasn't anything. It was very sweet and quite wholesome, but I just felt like it was lacking something. Like, in comparison to the Ali Hazelwood one, there was kind of no, like, depth to their relationship, which I think is what I was missing out on. And then in comparison to the Tessa Bailey one, it just wasn't as funny. Very sweet, very wholesome, but kind of nothingy. I don't really have anything to say about it. It just felt like pretty shallow and pretty undeveloped, I would say. There wasn't much going on beyond the premise of just she likes him, if that makes sense. There is some reference to her being divorced, but it was a teeny tiny sprinkle of extra character depth. Just the teeniest little addition to the story. It could have not been part of it, and it wouldn't have made a difference. There was no kind of interest added to the story because of that. It just was a fact rather than anything particularly interesting. So I'm gonna give it a 3. I think 3 is fine. I think it's my least favourite of the ones so far. But that's okay. Not all of them are going to be wins, and they're so short it doesn't matter if I don't like them. Hello. Merriment and Mayhem by Alexandria Bellafleur. I feel like I've heard of her before. I'm not sure. Shall we shift you this way? Vague premise. God damn, I'm not going to remember any of their names. He was Griffin. She had a long name. I think it began with E. Anyway, she's come to get her grandma's house ready to sell, and it's the last Christmas she's going to spend there. So she decides to do all the Christmassy things that her grandma loved, in order to have like a nice farewell Christmas. But in doing so, she ends up in a series of situations where she is in need of rescuing. And hot fire fighter Griffin enters the picture. I like this one. The smut is a bit, you know, it has a little bit of an extra spiciness to it. So to me, this felt like the beginning of a book, right? Like this is where they meet, where they decide they're in love with each other, where like everything is just beginning. And the rest of the book would be them figuring out how to live together, her figuring out what it's like to be in a new town, them figuring out together how to exist in the same place. Maybe there's issues because his job has such a big time commitment, or maybe there's conflict because it's so dangerous, or all that kind of stuff. Like this could grow. This one could grow. This one could be more than the 58 pages that it starts with. And if you stopped this book before the smut, it would be like a pretty good intro 50 pages into a story, I think. I would read the full length version of this. Does it work as a novella by itself? I think it works enough. There's enough going on in it that you are intrigued, and it's silly and fun and pretty Christmassy. There's lots of Christmas stuff going on. I think I'm gonna give it like a 3.5. This is one of the better ones, I think, so far. This is a good one. It's a good one. There's only one left. There's only one left. Look at this. What is this? That'll do. Only Santa's in the Building by Alexis Daria. I wanted mystery. Only Santa's in the building, only murderers in the building. I thought this was going to be a mystery book, but no. It's just the name of a costume party. Evie is a comic book artist. She's working on a deadline and it's nearly Christmas. And every time she goes outside, there is a new Christmas ornament handmade on her door. And it's all very, very cute. She has a crush on her neighbour, who has a name. Theo? His name is Theo. He's hot and huge, as is with every male romance lead in this series. And he's very helpful. He helps her change a light bulb. He helped her move in. He helped her get her Christmas tree upstairs. It's all very, very sweet. And once her deadline is done, she goes to her neighbour's Christmas party and Theo is there. This one was the most like hallmark of all of them. It's just very sweet, very cute, very cozy. It feels like enough of a story by itself. You get some of their past of how they met, how they've interacted previously. You get the present day where Christmas is happening and it was relatively Christmassy. And then you get a little glimpse into the future when they are slightly more established. So it does feel like a whole book, which is nice considering how short it is. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I did enjoy it quite a lot. It's very cute and very cozy. I think this is the cutest, coziest one. It's not like too spicy or too raunchy. It's not too sentimental. It is funny, but it's not like laugh out loud hilarious the whole time. So it has a good mix of the kind of light-hearted silliness with like cute cozy vibes. I'm giving it a 3.75. I really liked it. And that's all of them. That's it. I'm gonna put a little ranking here of where I would rank the books compared to each other. This was a good silly time for me. I had a good silly time with most of these books. If you're looking for something really light and really fun, I would recommend most of them as just something good and silly to consume. But for now I'm done. So thank you for being here as we get to the end of Bookmas, and I'll see you in a couple of days.